In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today, we are going to dig into fundamentals of branding, fundamentals of good marketing, and understand how we can stand apart even as a small brand, even as a small business or a mid-sized business, but what we need to do in order to build a valuable asset in our brand or rebuild our valuable asset of our brand. Today, I'm joined by Ethan Decker, who is a true powerhouse at the crossroads of science and creativity. With over 20 years of experience in brand strategy, advertising, and market research for some of the world's biggest brands, Ethan brings a unique perspective shaped by his background as a scientist turned marketer. From conducting ethnographies in Tokyo to presenting at South by Southwest and TEDx, and he's done it all, developing strategies that blend data-driven insights with creative brilliance and maybe a cuss word here and there. Ethan Decker, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Emanuel. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I've been looking forward to this conversation. So
yeah, me too.
I hope you had a couple cups of coffee.
I'm ready to go. People hide the coffee from me because I usually don't need any caffeine the way I go.
Well, I got to understand a little bit about how you went from data-driven scientist guy to creative marketing guy, and understand that hero's journey through that process.
Yeah, it was weird. So it started as a creative guy way back in like high school and college. I was much more into music and writing and creativity and making zines and doing musical theater. And then I got into science for grad school and got my PhD in ecology. Did some computational stuff and statistics and computer modeling and really geeked out. And then through kind of a series of unfortunate incidents in the Lemony Snicket sense, not terrible actually, but through a series of other things, I ended up falling into market research, which is kind of a bridge.
Yep.
And then from there into advertising, and spent the last 15 years basically in advertising, but also doing retail marketing, which is kind of less glamorous, but really important and impactful, shopper marketing, that kind of stuff. And so when I got into marketing and advertising, I was like, well, what's the science? And everybody kind of laughed at me.
That's right. No, there's all kinds of funny jokes about that, about traditional marketing and how, how you don't know which half your money's being wasted. All those jokes.
Yeah. And it is true. It is incredibly complex. It is incredibly difficult, but that does not mean that there's not a science to it. And in fact, there is a science to it, which is kind of fun. So it's what I'm doing these days.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I love we all love attribution and understanding where the part of our budget is that's actually getting value.
Yep.
I think one of the things that's interesting just on this little spend issue is that there's pretty clear science that says branding combined with transactional content in a ratio, roughly 60-40 is what I've seen most recently.
Yep.
You can confirm or deny that for me, but we have to have branding to build a good sense and a good feel and build connection. Mm-hmm. And we have to have relevant offers and that's where the magic happens. What do you think about that?
Oh man, there are a lot of things to touch on here, but you've nailed quite a few of it. First of all, there's this notion of short-term versus long-term. And secondly, and relatedly, it's like bottom of funnel versus top of funnel, or performance versus brand.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of bottom of funnel marketing, short-term marketing, performance marketing, because there's so many metrics, and it's just so easy to look at the stuff coming out minute by minute or day by day on your, Google Analytics or your Meta dashboard or something like that. And it's great because you get instant responses, but it's terrible because it's addictive, and it keeps you from looking at the stuff that might be as important, if not more important.
Yeah. So how do you take and build out some metrics around brand and around branding and top of the funnel? What should we be looking at as small business marketers or CMOs?
Yeah. The first thing is that there's probably not one great metric. There's not a single one, in the same way that there really shouldn't be one for performance stuff too.
Right.
We're really into ROI and ROAS, which is the return on ad spend.
Yep.
But that assumes that when you did that advertising thing, that's what caused the sale.
Right.
The problem with one of the big problems with just looking at ROI and ROAS as your metric is, a lot of the stuff we look at is when people are already in market to shop, in market to buy your category or your product. So someone punches in a Google search for local windows for your home, and Anderson Windows has some ad there. Well, it's kind of like giving people flyers when they're already about to walk into your store.
Right.
And so does the flyer get the credit for having them come to your doorstep?
Right.
So then when it comes to looking at the reverse, how do you measure those long-term things, or not even long-term, but the mushier things like brand awareness or brand equity? It really requires you to go out and talk to people or learn from people that aren't just at your doorstep already. So you got to do some research.
Yeah.
You can do some of it through AI. ChatGPT and Claude and some of these other tools are pretty good at giving you some of those metrics. You can look at things like Google Trends or search trends. But more than that, you got to get between people's ears. And to see what's between people's ears, you got to go out and talk to people.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess how would I, if I had a regional chain of gyms, how would I go out and talk to people and understand where I sit in the marketplace?
Step one, you could commission a small online survey.
Okay.
Maybe 300 people. That might be plenty.
Yep.
And find a provider, a local provider who does some online research, or maybe even a national one, and just interview or get surveys from 300 people in that category, not your customers, because your customers already know too much about you, think too much about you. You want to talk to the people who might know you exist, drove past you a couple times, might consider you but haven't been in, or used to use you 5 years ago, but now they go to this other gym.
Right.
Do like a little 200 or 300 person survey and quiz them about some basics, like what are the gyms in the area? What do you know of them? Which ones do you prefer, and why? Why do you prefer that gym? Why is that the one you like best? And then get a sense of what people think of your gym. And mostly what you'll find, Emanuel, is the people that don't go to your gym don't know much about your gym and don't think much about your gym.
Yeah. Terrible feeling.
I know. But there's this great old quote. Supposedly it's from Eleanor Roosevelt, but who knows? It's the internet now. She said something like, "Darling, you'd worry a lot less what people think about you if you realized how little they think of you at all." And that's probably the truth for this gym or any local business or any small company, which is mostly they're not even thinking about you.
Right.
And
because
so
they either have it sewn up, they either have a gym they're happy with, or they're not in the gym market.
Yeah. And if they're kind of looking around, then it's good to just know, do they know of you at all? Are they aware of any of your offerings? Or, are you really there for the hardcore gym people? Are you there for the people who mostly go for the smoothies and an occasional aerobics class?
Right.
go out and do some actual research to learn what's in people's heads.
Love it. Yeah, that's
You
great.
know?
Yeah.
And it could start with your own list. Go talk to your own customers and see what they think.
Right.
Yeah.
You can make an assessment of what the brand is versus what you think the brand is, right?
Amen. What do you think people think about your company versus what do they think of your company?
Right.
And that's really, Emmanuel, that's all a brand is it's your reputation. It's
Yeah.
your image.
Yeah.
And so do people know at all about it? Do they have the right image? Do they have the right sense of, what you offer?
Well, it's good. I like that. I like that we actually have to get out and talk to humans. That's a
Yeah.
good first step.
Yeah. Scary, but good. Yep. Doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. You don't need to spend $100,000. Just, spend $5,000.
Right.
Go do some interviews. You got people coming in and out of your gym all the time. Sit down and talk to them.
Yeah, in a structured way, right, where you can start to draw some math out of it.
Yeah, and there's some great guidance on that, on like what are the basic questions you should ask? What's a basic structure for how to assess your brand or your brand image or your reputation? Yeah, there's great help on guidance on that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure I could probably even get some good questions out of ChatGPT if I had a good prompt, huh?
Yep.
Well, we're seeing a proliferation of marketing tools and a kind of a democratization of marketing tools. So what we're seeing because of that is a bunch of really bad marketing.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I get it every day. We on LinkedIn especially, I get pitch slapped every day, right? And
yes.
So what are your fundamental principles about how we should be managing the accessibility of these tools with our brand and our business in mind?
Well, the accessibility, I think, is in some ways great. It's kind of like when desktop publishing and home printers were first available 20 years ago. Like suddenly you didn't have to go to the printer and the sign shop to get a little sign that said closed on Thursdays.
Right.
But it did mean you could put up a sign that said closed on Thursdays and it would have an apostrophe S, which it shouldn't have.
Or Thursdays.
Yeah, you'd misspell it.
Yeah.
And so you've got terrible trash everywhere because it is democracy, right? That means anyone and everyone can print whatever they want. So we've got, I think, a good boon in the democratization of these tools. Like you and I, or anyone listening, can film a video, an ad on their phone, whether it's a Pixel or an Android or an iPhone.
Yep.
And that's cool. But you're right. What it means is there's a lot of schlock that's going out there. One of the fundamental principles is first of all, keep it clear so that people know what's being advertised and who's advertising.
So how do we do that? We do that with a headline, a subhead, agitation, and a call to action.
Really basic stuff. I don't know if you remember, apply to forehead, ban on, apply to forehead. Like we think it's a joke, but it's also kind of true. 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy tells you what it is. It's the worst brand name in the world, but it's the best brand name in the world.
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. Yes. One of my favorite campaigns is for a deck finish deck stain company, I think in Australia, but it might have been in the UK. Its tagline was, does what it says on the tin.
Yeah. Sounds Australian.
It's so simple. It's 2 hour deck stain. It's dry in 2 hours and it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
So keep it really clear. Don't get overly clever so that people don't even know what the hell you're advertising for. And then the second thing is, and it's almost the inverse of that. So that's the real hard part. The art of it is balancing these things. You got to be interesting. You got to be noticeable. You got to be memorable.
Right.
Or else all that money you're spending on advertising or on your wraps for your trucks or your stationery or whatever is wallpaper. It's forgettable. It's unnoticed.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's a hard balance to strike.
It is hard. I've seen this other trend in the email sequences where the companies are like giving these really transactional offers, like email 5 or 6, but they're not at all talking about what their value proposition is, or even what the company is. Like
Yeah.
I get these emails, I'm like, they're like, oh, 20% off or whatever. I'm like, well, I have no idea what you're even doing.
Correct. Correct. That is where you need to also sometimes just test what you're saying and doing with Aunt Edna. I love
Right.
Aunt Edna because she doesn't know jack about marketing.
Right.
And if Aunt Edna doesn't understand it, then, chances are most people won't understand it. There's a problem when you become a marketer, when you become a business owner, you have the curse of too much information.
Mm-hmm.
And you get amnesia about what it's like to be outside of your brand. You think everybody knows your brand. You think everybody knows what you offer. And nobody does. And nobody gives a damn because they can't find their car keys and they have to feed their dog.
Yeah.
So test your stuff with friends and family, not necessarily colleagues. Or if it is colleagues, get someone who's not in marketing. If you've got a bigger company and you're in manufacturing, let's say, just get someone on the shop floor
Yeah.
to look at your shit to see, does it make any sense? And is it clear? And maybe do they giggle? If you get a giggle out of them, then that could be a win. Like, really, it's the simplest metric, but these like really simple notions of keep it clear, but balance that with being somewhat interesting or entertaining. And then third, test it with people that are not in your business.
Yeah, and I would just add in there, let's like try to trigger like the giggle. I like that because it's emotional.
Yeah.
And so, I always tell my team, I'm like, babies, puppies, water. Let's get something in there that draws in some visual, emotional stimulation, and then make sure that we're selling sizzle, not steak, right?
Yeah. Well, both. You need both.
Yeah.
You start with the sizzle. They come in for that great smell. Oh, and the sound of the sizzle. And then you want to deliver some really good steak too, or good enough steak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's a tough balance. But these are timeless things, regardless of your technology, regardless of your tools. It is hard. I've worked with a lot of small companies where they do struggle and they get lost when it comes to how to be creative or how to be interesting or how to be funny or entertaining, because it's not in their wheelhouse. They're construction people or HVAC people or financial managers. They know their knitting.
Yep.
But then now they're asked to be creative and funny. Like, come on, that's not what they're good at.
No, and I think that's the real thing in this time in 2025, where marketing is complicated enough, just like accounting is, just like HR is, that you're really not going to, as a solopreneur or a small business, be able to do your own marketing. Like, that myth needs to go away.
It's hard. It's hard to do your own marketing because you do really want an expert. It's kind of like I'm not going to be able to fix my car. I am not an auto kind of guy. I did not grow up under the chassis of my dad's truck. And so I want to find someone who knows how to fix a damn car and knows how to do it well.
Yep.
And I don't want to tinker with it and screw it up. And marketing is, it's kind of in that same boat. And so if and when you can afford to hire a pro, even part-time or even just for projects, then hire them just like you would hire a mechanic to fix your car.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about who are some of the old school marketers that you like, that you follow or that you've read, or that people should think about for fundamentals.
This is a great question, Emanuel, because we're so addicted to the new and the trendy and the fad. And some of the old stuff is just true and right, just like the laws of physics don't change.
Yep.
Sir Isaac Newton, he's not out of style. So here's like one of the ones I love is David Ogilvy.
Of course, yep.
He's an old school guy. He likes a punchy headline. He likes to test things. He came out of direct mail.
Yep.
And direct mail is a good pressure test. It's a good litmus test for whether you know your shit. And so he's got really great, solid advice. Ogilvy is always worth looking at and reading and knowing. There's a group called the Ehrenberg Bass Institute. They're in Australia, and this is an academic group. Byron Sharp is one of the professors there. I think he just either celebrated his 20th or 25th anniversary running the institute. He's great. He's got a book called How Brands Grow. It's already 15 years old. Oh, gasp. 15 years old.
Yeah.
And it is based on science that's 40 years old.
Wow.
Gasp.
How could that be relevant?
Heavens to Betsy. 40
Yeah.
years old. It's not relevant anymore. We have AI and we've lived through the pandemic, changed everything. Well,
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But that research from How Brands Grow is vital to understanding the fundamentals of how brands, how markets are structured, how brands compete, some really, really core laws of physics that you should kind of know.
Love it.
And it steers you clear of some of these myths, these fantasies that we have.
Yeah.
That here's one fantasy that I hate. I love to hate it. You can be a small niche passion brand with lots of loyal customers and no light customers. Sounds like a dream.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I only have loyal customers.
Of course, yeah. I just have my 170 people who keep me in business every year. Yeah.
It's a fantasy.
Yep.
And we are taught and told to strive for that fantasy by people who don't know the physics of how brands work and how markets are structured.
And how humans behave. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They're forgetting the laws of behavior, of basic human psychology and behavior.
Yeah, you and I can come up with 5 situations that would change somebody's buying habits tomorrow, right?
Right.
That we know of. And so
Yeah.
you always have to have trial and new customers to replace the attrition.
Yep. Churn is normal.
Yep.
And a lot of people believe that they can somehow fill the holes in their leaky bucket. Like a leaky bucket, even the metaphor is wrong because it implies that there's a problem with the bucket.
Right.
It
Yeah.
implies that it's broken.
Right.
And it's not. It's like a garden is really a better metaphor.
Yeah.
Because
Jay
they die all
Abraham.
the time.
Yeah, Jay Abraham talks about like a parade, right? And so
Yeah.
you're pulling people out of the parade and then they're going back to the parade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, if you don't know the laws of brand science, which isn't the same just as big data and data analytics, if you don't know the laws of physics of how shoppers shop and how brands work, then you're bound to believe these fantasies and you're bound to waste a lot of money chasing stuff that just doesn't work. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
And even Emanuel, getting back to your early question about 60-40, that 60-40 split between like brand building and performance.
Yep.
There is some pretty good research that shows, and this isn't quite the level of a law of physics, of brands, but there's good research that shows if you focus on long-term brand building, it makes your performance marketing work more effectively and efficiently. But if you only focus on performance marketing, short-term stuff, bottom of funnel stuff, it does not add up to building your brand.
I believe that. I mean, that makes sense to me. That's the intuition is around that because you're always transactional. And I like, for instance, I got a dog food topper for my dog that I love, right?
Okay.
Every email is 20% off.
Right.
And there's no explanation about performance and the way they source their materials and it's all the best stuff in the world, right? But they never do that. They just do 20% off.
Yeah, or just about dogs. I mean, come on, dogs are like the most emotional, personal, lovey-dovey, fun, entertaining topic.
Yes.
I got a buddy who runs a dog company, and he's like, it's the easiest thing in the world. Just talk about dogs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they could do like 365 days of dogs who eat their topper, and that would be way better than another 20% off email.
Amen. And it would build a brand. It would build a brand image, a reputation that's more interesting, more memorable, more, frankly, just a little bit more likable than the next brand over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all they need.
I love it. Wow. I mean, you and I really could talk about this all day, but it'd be pretty boring for everybody else. So,
Yeah.
Ethan, if people want to sign up for your newsletter or get in touch with you and have a conversation, how do they do that?
I got a couple ways. Number one, you're right. I do have a newsletter. It's the Irregular News because it comes out irregularly. You can sign up at appliedbrandscience.com/sign up. I also have a new podcast that I'm doing as well. It's great. I love this. It's called Cover Brand, and it's like car talk, but for brands.
Love
it's
it.
a call-in show.
Yeah.
So you can find Cover Brand kind of anywhere you listen. If people want to talk to me, my contact info is also on my website, appliedbrandscience.com. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And so if you go to LinkedIn and look for Ethan Decker or Applied Brand Science, you'll find me there. Hit me up. I'm always open for conversations.
Cool. Yeah. And all that information will be in the show notes, and it'll be easy to get to you.
Great.
I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for dishing on all these scientific approaches to marketing. And I love your energy, and I love the work that you're doing, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Ethan. Well, I love it. We got back to the fundamentals of brand building, looking at being clear, being engaging, creating some emotional connection, and understanding the difference between building brand and being transactional. I hope you got some value from this today. And my biggest hope is that you take some time to find some AI tools that can free up some time for yourself so you can continue to upskill, or that you can get more time with your friends and family and get outside and enjoy the fresh air. It's Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.